Hi, this is John Schmitz for the Do Something Indie Show, and hey, welcome to the show. I appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching live, great. If you watch it later, hey, that's great, but hey, you're watching it. So tonight, I'm coming to you from the Mars Hill Art Center, and I'm in the incredible Mr. Potts' studio. That's me, by the way. I have a little bit of my work here, and this is something that we just did. That's why I'm shooting the video here tonight for the opening, because I just got done shooting a ceramics video on how to make this beautiful mug. So if you can take a look at that, ooh, isn't that nice? It's still drying. We still have to fire it, glaze it, and fire it again. And once that happens, it looks sort of like this, except it's not a bird bath or a fruit bowl, whatever you want to call it. It looks more like this. This is what a finished mug looks like. It's there. So you're probably wondering, well, John, how'd you learn how to do all that? And my story on that is in college, we had to take humanities. We had to take classes, humanities. Well, ceramics was one of the humanities classes, and guess what? It wasn't like an English class. I thought, wow, I don't have to write a paper. I get to play in dirt. This is great. So I get into class, and guess what? I had to write a paper on ceramics. I still remember the name of it, Aspects of Clay. Riveting reading. I wish I still had it. I would share it with you, and you would love it, I'm sure. But anyway, I took these classes and I learned how to do all these things. Behind me there those are all ground up rocks. Flint, dolomite, all Frit 234, all these things make up the glazes. And you mix them up and they're just basically ground up rocks. And then you fire these things and they come out a beautiful product. And I learned this by investing in myself. I took time to go do these things. And I would encourage you to get out and do something that you want to do. Hey, the name of the show is Do Something, so do something. But that takes me to our show tonight. And our show tonight is about a couple guys that I serve with down at Cathy Under the Bridge that we're there every Sunday. And we've gotten to be decent friends. And then also I have another guest, The Wiz, and he's actually one of our customers. And he's going to give us perspective on what it's like to be one of the customers. And I think you're going to appreciate this because this is just regular folk out doing something. So whether it's serving the homeless, ceramics, bricklaying, whatever, pick up a hobby. Let's do something different. Let's learn, invest in yourself. Then you can teach somebody else. So let's get a look at these clips and see these interviews. Hi everyone, John Schmitz for the Do Something Indie Show, and I have a couple of friends down here at Meet Me Under the Bridge with Cathy Albright, and this is
Matt Garthwaite
and
David Enan.
All right, we'll start with Matt. Matt, how long have you been coming down and serving with Cathy?
Pretty close to a year, I'd say.
Okay, so we've been about the same amount of time, really, maybe a little longer. Mm-hmm. And then Dave, how about you?
About a month and a half.
Month and a half. Now these are guys that come down here on Sunday at 3 and help out. Matt and I do about the same thing. We just hand stuff out like we're in charge. But Dave here, he actually brings quite a bit of stuff, and I got some pictures with that. So Dave, can you tell us the story about how you came into this stuff and what made you get started?
Long story short, it started from a divorce. So, Romans 8:28 means so much to me. All the bad can turn into the good. So for a year, I was one day from foreclosure on my home. And every month for a year, I get a $20 to $50 commission more than what I needed to pay the mortgage. And after a while, I realized that, okay, God has my back and I don't have to worry so much. And so through all that, I've got 6 acres, and once I realized I saved my house, I realized that there's a purpose for this. God has a purpose. So I started with a 3,500 square foot garden, and it would take my produce into the inner city around 17th and Rural, 16th and Sharon Street. And I'd just drive around and I'd see somebody in their yard walking and ask them if they want cucumbers, tomatoes, whatever. And that's how it started. About a year and a half ago, I was traveling down to Jasper to one of my clients, and a couple other trips after that ended up in Osgood. And one of my clients asked me, after I'm done, I sell insurance, so after I'm done with my clients, asked me if I wanted this extra food they have a food ministry over there to bring to whoever. So sure, so I got out there, and little did I know that they had to have a tractor to load it in the truck. I mean, it was 120 40-inch lengths of salami and pepperoni.
Tons.
Yeah. So before I had a chance to even get rid of that, I got a call, and they wanted to introduce me to the person in charge. And it's a guy that used to travel the world with Benny Hinn, and they have a ministry called Just for Him Ministries. And they go into Kentucky every Friday, and they get a huge truckload of food. And then they fill up all the pantries in that area, and they was looking for somebody for all the extras. They have a lot of extras, and that happens to be me. And so it started small, 1 skid load, 3 skid loads every week, and I get $50 a skid load. And it could be all kinds of stuff and a lot of restaurant
It's
quality
a potluck,
food. Yeah,
like a
it
pot
is
pie.
unbelievable. And then to where I am now is, again, all God thing. I met a couple other people. There's a ministry in Lebanon that they work with teenage kids, and then they got me in contact with this small minister on 52, close to Lebanon. And so he kind of took over for me, and he has a refrigerated truck. He's got the freezers, deep freezers. So every Friday we go over and we get 5 to 7 skid loads of food, and we only pay $150. And then I go over there every Saturday and I load my truck up for what we can use here, and then I come here on Sundays and just distribute. So again, just a huge God thing.
It just all came together. It's an amazing story. Now, Matt, you know, you're basically like me. You come down, you're moral support and all that. What made you get involved, and what's it mean to you?
Well, I kind of have a similar story. In just the last couple of years, I went through a separation, and then a lot of things changed in my life, and it really brought me closer to God and closer to my faith, especially in the kind of the realm of serving. It was a nice natural transition. I used to work in the restaurant industry for a long time, and then when I got out, had nights and weekends free, but I still kind of like wanted to do some sort of service, so I started working across the street here at Second Helpings. Well, shortly afterwards, a young lady that was coming into our church with her husband had passed away the year before. She passed away as well at Fountain Square, and we had a memorial for both her and her husband, and both times I had spoken with Kathy with everything that she was doing, and so then I just decided to start adding this.
This is a little bit like the Ecclesiastes 3. There's a time to start and there's a time to end, and sometimes it's our time to serve, and I think that it's always a good time to start serving.
Yep.
And we've gotten, I know I called you Pat at first because I'm so good with names. And I had to ask your name today, Dave. But other than that, I'm pretty solid. But it's just fun coming down with you guys. And, we've gotten to know each other and to see the good that's being done here is, it does your heart good.
Yeah.
And it's, and as you can see by this interview, we've all come through some sort of pain. I don't want to one-up you guys, but I went bankrupt and divorced at the same time. So, we all have our issues, and we're all closer to each other than we believe. So I want to thank you guys. Your elbow bump, because all that. And thank you for your service. Okay, now I have the Wiz with me right now, and I'm going to ask him a few questions. He actually is someone who comes down for a meal on Sundays, and sometimes you're on your bike. Yep. Sometimes you're on the bus, sometimes you're walking. So tell us what Kathy Under the Bridge means to you.
Well, Kathy, in her big heart, she arranges with various churches to come out here and bring food, and we get a meal every Sunday late afternoon. And she provides other assistance, blankets, sleeping bags as needed, tents on occasion. Very helpful. The social attitudes towards people who are homeless, it's very depressing. Everybody is against them.
Some judgment going on there.
Now
you don't see that down here at Kathy's, though, right? It's just sort of a safe place, or?
Yeah, Kathy. No, there's no judgment at sites like this, but to the general population. I've heard radio announcers, for example, talking about the homeless out there in the circle, and we got to get rid of them. They're ruining the business, and blah blah, blah, you know. And there's no sympathy. There's no understanding.
And there's no solution. They just want
Right.
you gone. Okay.
Right. There's no effort. There's no effort to solve the problem. It's just get out of our face and yeah.
Move on. Now you got some. Kathy has some good news for you today, but I don't know what it is. Did you find out? Are you willing to share?
My name came up on a housing list that I may get to move into subsidized housing if I'm approved.
Well, who do I need to call or not call? Maybe I don't need to talk to him if I put you back in the line.
I don't
but-
know how this works, but somebody had put my name in on the housing list, and I came up on the rotation.
That's always good to be on the rotation. So what do you think? Give me your honest 50-50, 75. What's your chances, do you think? I mean, you've been in this struggle for quite a while. What are your chances, you think? Give me the don't give me the pessimistic, give me the optimistic version.
The optimistic version, I'd probably say I've got an 80% chance
Okay.
at it.
Yeah, that's good. And that's going to be something, obviously, that's going to be good for you and give you some
Right.
stability. And that's one of the things I see that's good about Kathy Under the Bridge. It's every Sunday at 3.
Right.
And, everybody knows that.
Oh.
And that's good for people, as long as you can keep
It's
track of
reliable.
time.
It's reliable. You know it's going to be there. You're going to get help. I'll bet it's minimal because of volunteers making donations, but the help is there.
Yeah, and it's not just a
Which-
meal. It's, we have some social interactivity. We've had some good conversations, and
right.
I just appreciate the fact that we can come down here and we can break bread together, even though we're in different social economic situations and situations in general, and we try to help each other out like a big family. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's been enjoyable coming down. Well, Liz, I appreciate it, and have a safe bus ride home because the buses are free right now, right?
Right.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. The Whiz.
So if you want to serve with Meet Me Under the Bridge at the ACLU parking lot at 3 p.m. on Sunday, hey, just come on down. Derek Vance with Indy News, he came down last Sunday, and I think he did a great job. We really needed him. We were a little short, and he came and he helped. And that's going to wrap up our series on homelessness. And our next series is going to be about community gardens. And you'd be surprised how many little gardens there are here and there. And you could start your own little garden in your backyard. That'd be grass you wouldn't have to cut. That's how you sort of get tricked into having a garden, because you still got to pull the weeds. But we're going to have a couple of community garden people that are out doing their thing. And we have actually a special offer for you. If you want to do some raised beds, we got something sort of free that you might want. So tune in next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for the Do Something Indie show and check out who we're going to interview about a community garden. Over and out. See you later. Bye.